Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again. It's been like 2 weeks since I've done anything. It's been a little bit of a break. If you've followed the post on YouTube, you'll know the answer, but basically the company I work for has announced that it has been sold, and while I still have a job, hopefully for roughly the next year or so, it's been a stressful week. So I've been taking my time to kind of, start the process of thinking about what's next, and just been taking a little bit of a break. Frankly, also our 3-year-old has decided that now that she is in a toddler bed, she is no longer in the mood to stay in bed, and bedtime has gone from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Not for lack of trying, but that's made it hard to stream as well. With that being said, today we're going to be taking a look at Ultimate General American Revolution. And this is the newest game or is it technically the newest? They just released that renowned 1899 game or whatever, but it is the newest of the Ultimate General games by Game Labs, which we've played extensively on this channel in the past. It looks at, you guessed it, the American Revolution. The game will eventually have a British campaign, but right now it is in early access and only has the American campaign that is playable, although since the last time I played the game, they have extended that American campaign. The last time I played, I believe it ended in 1777, right around the time of the attack on New York, and they've extended the campaign through the remainder of the war. I believe the entire 13 colonies are in the theater that can be played by the end of the game. I'm really looking forward to the British campaign. I think this game might actually play better as the British than as the Americans, but we'll see. And as of the 6th of June, so if you're watching this live, as of yesterday, the game was released into early access on Steam. It appears to have a mixed or not so positive reception on Steam. We'll see. Most of the Ultimate General games in the past were always kind of beloved by most of the players, despite some reservations with the campaign system. But we'll see how the game plays now. We're going to play the campaign. So there are skirmish battles. You can play a bunch of different skirmish battles, and then you can also make custom battles as well. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to play the campaign and start a new one up here today. So let's go ahead and jump in. Every person. Run away. Wait. If you run away, wouldn't your destination be that of where you're running to? But in any event, so I imagine this is where you choose whether you play as the Americans or the British. If you do they don't have a British option yet, so we'll play as the Americans. Wasn't Washington not the first child? I thought he had an older brother who died, or maybe it was his younger brother. Anyway, this is sort of you building your storyline for your character. In the game, it sort of gives you the rote story of George Washington that we're going to go through and choose. But we're actually going to go ahead and we're gonna play as something else. Actually, Horatio Gates? No. Sure. Benedict Arnold. Well, the problem is those characters are characters in the game, too. So, although I guess Washington isn't, because you kind of take his place in the game. So now there will be no Washington, I think. I had to learn how to keep everyone engaged with different tasks. So this is where, your choices basically influence your character's traits up here in the upper right. So you can see our traits are intelligence, perception, endurance, charisma, or willpower. And based on this choice, we can either add 3 to perception and intelligence, 5 to perception and willpower, or 2 to intelligence, 3 to endurance, and 2 to willpower. The 5 to perception and willpower is interesting. What does perception do? Range attack efficiency. So is range attack anything that's not melee? Is that the efficiency of my soldiers who are firing muskets? And then willpower, I'm assuming, is morale regeneration, morale damage decreases. That feels like that's going to maybe be the most important when it comes to fighting against redcoats. The other alternative, what does intelligence do? Line of sight radius. I don't really care about that. I think that's a little bit underpowered. Boost units range attack. It does help with range attack. But again, if you go with willpower, you also get that. Or perception. Let's do made my younger siblings do what I needed. Dominance.
At the age of 11, 11, I lost my father, and the responsibility for all family affairs passed to me. Plantation management and financial matters became part of my daily routine.
We'll boost the gameplay audio a little bit. Alright, so I spent all my free time hunting. Thanks to this, I became a tracker, so we can go spotting range, command aura, or own speed. I'm going to go with command aura. I don't really know exactly what that is. It doesn't tell me exactly here, but that's probably important.
I spent my adolescence studying and managing the family's plantation. My mentor and older half-brother, who's like a father to me, died during our trip to Barbados. His loss affected me greatly.
Okay, so I shut everybody else out. That hurts endurance, charisma. Consistently where you'll lose someone else, endurance and willpower. I realize that the worst will always happen. That is a pessimistic view. No, that's a pretty damn huge penalty to efficiency too, so we're not going to do that. Endurance and willpower. So that's morale. Endurance, charisma. What's charisma? Melee attack damage? We're going to try and avoid melee attack, so let's do the charisma penalty.
At the age of 20, I was appointed commander of the Virginia militia.
You can't play British yet, Strider, but they are working on a British campaign. And yeah, this is an odd time for me to be playing, frankly, but I decided to take the afternoon off from work with everything going on. I had vacation days to burn and figured I could use half a day. Alright, make my choice on how my story continues. Inspired my soldiers. Constant training. Soldiers spent their time shooting. Firearms seems important. We're going with the firearm tactic. Avoid melee and shoot guns well.
My attempts to secure a commission in the army were thwarted by English officers with little respect for my abilities. So
let me know if you can hear me okay over the audio. You should be able to. Married a rich widow and started developing my estate, increasing my holdings 5 times. That was Washington's story, right? His wife had a previous husband, I think. So that gives me more money. Local politics increases my reputation. Reputation is important to make sure you don't get fired. You can also sell it for things. I don't know how that... So I do know they've added some stuff with the native tribes. I don't know enough to know if getting a -20 tensions with them would be valuable. So I'm going to go with the more money, because reputation can be converted to money, but money is money. So I'll go with money.
Afterwards, I ran for and was elected to the Virginia House of Burgesses. In 1774,
that whole Congress like banner thing, it's weird to have like the period looking buildings and outfits and then have something that looks like streamers that were set up, you know, this week. Like, oh, streamers and banners, okay. Sure, they didn't look like that. I feel like our Navy sucks no matter what, so I don't know that one extra warship is going to help. I also don't know if they've fixed the Navy yet so that you can like actually have extra crew to capture ships as opposed to just destroy them. So we'll avoid that. The brown best muskets would be pretty useful for our troops, but I actually think just having more troops would be useful. Well, they used to do 2 militia units. Now it's just the 1. So 1,000 good muskets or an extra infantry unit. Actually, I'm going to go with 1,000 good muskets, especially since we've gone with the do all the traits that give you stuff for being better at ranged attack. The militia might be useful if I was going for more of a melee approach, but I think the better muskets are going to be the direction I want to go for this team. Welcome, Silverhaired. This will end up on YouTube, probably tomorrow. Alright, so here's our character, Horatio Butcher. I always loved the Horatio Hornblower novels, so that's where they come from. It looks like our character ends with 54 intelligence, which is... These are all pretty good stats. None of them are very low. None of them are very high. Willpower's pretty darn high at 73, but charisma, endurance, intelligence, that's all kind of middle of the road, and then perception is good with willpower being very good. But the 50s are basically kind of average. We'll set it to normal difficulty. What is limited AI reinforcements? The game allows you to deviate even further from the historical scenario. The AI will not try to return the game to historical outline depending on selected difficulty. The AI may send fewer troops to historical to restore the... So, I guess what this means is if you do better than the Americans do historically, the British will send more troops than they did historically to try and change the tide. That's interesting. We'll just keep it as the stock. My character... there's not a lot of portraits to choose from here. I guess we'll go with this dapper young gentleman. More schools would probably help with getting more troops. Yeah, I didn't do a great job in my previous playthrough of building the infrastructure up well, so I built very tall, but not very deep, I would say. All right, so I hired 2 regiments, one from Pennsylvania, one from Virginia, to support the Patriot cause. I traveled to Massachusetts, where the 2 regiments eager to join the fight against the British. The Patriot Army was in need of reinforcements, and the arrival of 2 hired regiments is a welcome sight. I must quickly integrate the new soldiers into battle plans and lead them into action. All right, so we are set to April 18th, 1775. It's going to throw us into the tutorial battle probably for Lexington, Concord here in a second. These are our 2 militia regiments, which we are leading. Our troops apparently already have some level of experience, so we'll go with willpower or stamina. Let's go with willpower. Both of them have 5 efficiency, so we'll do that. Also, can we give our troops better weapons? I don't even remember. Like, it's been a while since I played. I don't even remember how to do that. I don't know if we can do it yet, though. What weapons do these guys have? Yeah, I don't think I can do that quite yet. Right, we'll form them into an army. Yeah, doesn't look like I can... I don't have access to the armory yet, so... Alright, so we will... I guess our troops just kind of move along. I think we'll want to move them toward Providence. We'll see if we can take Providence from the enemy. It is a regional capital. We're going to get thrown into this battle for Lexington Concord before we get there, but I'm assuming the Providence force is under garrisoned at the moment. So let's see what we can do. We won't send our guy out there quite too quickly. Leicester's already in our hand. Hey, boys. Move along the roadway. I wish there was a, like, stick-to-road command rather than, like, manually drawing these things, because moving through the woods slows you down so much. You can do... There is international relations do matter in the game. Alright, I guess we'll command this battle. I've already played this a couple of times on the channel, but it's good to play it because you get bonuses for winning it, right? Like weapons and other things like that, seized or reputation or whatever. So it's a good thing, I think, to fight the Battle of Lexington Concord, even though I don't think either of my regiments, which I'm directly commanding, will actually benefit, I don't think, from the fight, but we'll see. So we're going to take a first look, if you will, of this. Well, not really first look, because I've played it before, but we're going to play the Battle of Concord here. So the British are sending troops to take our arms. We've got stashed weapons. Our goal is to defend them. And I don't like that camera angle, so we're going to switch it around. You can see the British are rolling up on us over here. We've got troops in the wood line. We'll try and slow them down. Meanwhile, we'll get reinforcements that come up as well. The objective is here. We've got to hold this location. Stick these boys in a tree line. These boys over here on the right flank. We will get more reinforcements that come up. You can see apparently General Smith, not General Gage, is in charge. But we've got these troops here in this line. You can see they've got 57% cover. These boys only have 29% cover. It's strange to me how defensive positions in this game are treated. Your cover value almost always seems to be better to just be in the wood rather than behind like a fence which I don't know that I agree with, but that is typically how the game treats it. So we're going to keep these boys here. They're going to shoot at the enemy and try and slow them down. The enemy will probably rush them for a melee combat. And then we've got additional tripwires set up ahead of the objective. One here in the forest to the right of the objective. This blue spot's the objective. One in the forest to the front left. And then we should get additional reinforcements coming up back from this way before too long. But here come the British. Some of these boys are in column. You can see that the engagement is joined. We've got these boys are Minutemen. They're basically, you can see they're in very loose formation. They are skirmishers. Whoops. All right, they're going to charge us. Maybe. So because these guys are skirmishers, they're less likely to engage in a melee. They are more likely to pull back. Meanwhile, some of our reinforcements are coming up. So let's go ahead and pause this. Looks like we've got 2 more skirmisher units here coming up on the left. I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to deploy them to hold the objective, but I will deploy these boys here on this fence line to the objective. The full-size regiments versus the skirmishers. All right, so these guys are going to run. That's good. I don't want them to stick it out in melee. They will die there. The goal here really is just to defend as long as you can. Slow the enemy down as long as you can. Now that the enemy is moving into the wood line, they will get the benefit of cover that we don't have. I suppose we can move these guys into the fences to defend the position just because we need to get someone on those fences. All right, we could move them at the double quick, but not really in the mood to do that. I'm thinking we'll move these 138 men back to the fence line to defend the main objective, while these 67 Minutemen move forward into this tree line here to replace them kind of as skirmishers to delay the British. This battle is all about delaying the British. The British will eventually be outnumbered, but you know, you gotta survive long enough to hold the objective long enough so that you can do that. And so you will get more and more reinforcements the longer the battle lasts. But, you know, until those reinforcements come up, you're pretty heavily outnumbered, as you can see. Okay, so these skirmishers are doing a pretty good job slowing the enemy down. They're taking more casualties than they're inflicting mostly, but, you know, that doesn't matter as much right now. None of these are my campaign units. At least these skirmisher units aren't. More columns of troops coming in from the right flank. This is a weird battle, too, because the game, like, always has it happen in the campaign. Again, it's kind of like the tutorial battle. But it doesn't actually do anything for the... Are you really... So they're in the trench line, but they don't get any cover from it? So they're behind this fence, and it does them no good? I don't understand that. Oh, that's because there's those troops who are in it. Okay, you guys go over here. Alright, so these guys get 50% cover from this fence line. That's nice. Yeah, this enemy unit came forward, and they're getting hit from both flanks from these skirmishers, at least for the moment. We've got skirmishers in this wood line to the right of the objective. A couple of enemy companies are coming up that way. One of the initial Minutemen units have been shattered. These guys are engaging at very long range. What weapons do they have? Civilian muskets? Okay. They're kind of firing into the flank of those boys as they arrive. We've got 2 full units on the fence in front of the objective now. We've got about 150 men on the flank in that wood with nice cover. Oh boy, we are cooking with gas now, boys. You move into that, and you move here. All right, 3 more companies of troops coming up. Another 300 or so troops. We have delayed. This is, I don't know if the AI is less aggressive than previously, but this is probably the best I've done delaying the enemy in this particular battle. Maybe not having your soldiers fighting out in the open is not a good thing. I don't know what you mean. My troops aren't in the open. What do you mean? I mean, these boys are, but that's only because they've been pushed out of the wood line. These boys are up in this this hill here. The reason the troops are not doing as well on the kill-to-death ratio is because, one, this is 50 versus 115 muskets, right? So they've got twice as many weapons firing at us. Two, we've got civilian muskets, so these are not actually rifles. These are civilian muskets, which are inferior to the British Brown Besses. So that's why they're not doing as well. These Minutemen are going to form up here on the flank. I don't love sitting these guys in the open, but that's where they're going to go. 250 men will have these guys try and hit the enemy in the flank as they move up. All right. So we're now engaging these enemy troops as they come up. They've got 4 companies kind of grouped up. We've got 175 men, more than any of these individual units, but again, the enemy is bunched up here. So they've got more units. I don't know that they've got more muskets online here. Maybe they got a little bit more, but they're also, you know, our boys are probably in better cover, I would think. And we're going to start swarming these guys. So we got the 90 troops here. We got the 60 in this town farm building area with a little bit of cover. Nice, flanked. There you go. Bring these 50 boys up here. Push forward into their flank. And that's usually where this whole thing... Okay, so they are breaking the troops in the wood line to the right, but that's largely just a delaying force. We got another 400 troops or so coming up here behind the objective. Maybe we'll deploy them up to the right to make sure the enemy doesn't flank us. Then we can swing in and crush the enemy as needed. Alright, these boys are routing off the map. The other nice thing is this is a ammunition depot, so we actually, our troops here will constantly have ammunition, which is something you do have to worry about running out of. Fortunately, right now, we don't really have to worry about it. And again, remember, my strategy in this particular game is going to be avoiding melee at all costs. These 25 men, they're getting wiped out, but they are delaying considerably more numbers than their own. But again, my strategy in this particular playthrough is going to be to avoid melee combat at all costs, because we're bad at it. With all of our, at least with my character, he's bad at it. Okay, that left flank engagement went very favorably for us on a loss rate perspective. Alright, we'll move these boys onto that fence just to make sure they don't overwhelm us there. Right flank is a little bit of a salient. That's not in as great of a spot, but we do have reinforcements available to us. They're just out of range with these boys in the woods. Man, we got more troops coming out? Jeez. Forgot how many men you got in this fight. So I think we've gotten to the point where it is unlikely the enemy will push in on us and take the objective. I don't know if they can charge this wagon. It would be cool if we could capture the wagon. Alright, so they did break that lead unit here. We'll shift this 250 men in reserve back into it. We've got considerably more strength. That's what this bar up here at the top represents than the enemy. So the enemy did break the 2 units kind of in the salient on that fence line, but we're moving 500 troops in to replace those boys that have been pushed back. Just because I love throwing men into a salient. I did take 20 casualties getting them there, though. But now they're there and they're in cover, so hopefully they'll shoot. I haven't seen my character on the map, really. Why are you not shooting at the close ones to you? They're going to try and melee you. They're going to run in and get flanked on each side. Yeah, they try. It looks like they're trying to close with this company here, but now they are pulling back, and they're routing. When you set to hold, you get more cover by 15%. It does lead to one of your units, your front rank, dropping down on a knee. I don't know if that impacts rate of fire or not, but it does give you considerably more cover. You can see these units on the left are a little bit out of ammo, or they're running lower on ammo. We've got 34 more game minutes, which is not a 1-to-1. Volley fire! Get 'em, boys! Alright, those boys are actually low on ammo, interestingly. Alright, left flank looks pretty safe. These guys routed already? Jeez. Alright, well maybe don't go on that salient here and just take position over near this farmhouse. I think you'll get a little bit of cover from it. Just shoot from there. Maybe not. Maybe you won't get cover. Where are these guys going? Retreat the other way. Retreat in the other direction. Don't retreat toward the enemy. Retreating toward the enemy, bad idea. Alright, so they're going to charge in on the objective. They'll try and get to it. I doubt they will. We've got a lot of troops pouring it in on them. I don't know. Usually there is a general on the map. There doesn't seem to be in this particular fight for us. There will be in future battles. Not sure why he's not here, this fight. Those boys are retreating too? Alright, bring up the reserves, I suppose. British are so much better than us. Theoretically. Alright, the enemy's retreating here. That company is... Well, if they don't run, they're going to shatter pretty quick. Alright, they're pulling back. We got more troops around. Some of these guys' morale took a pretty big hit from their fighting. Alright. The British are hanging in there a little bit better than I feel like they usually do, which is interesting. Maybe you guys should be shooting at the enemy, huh? Alright, they're not on your flank, so move up to that fence line. Can you just route these guys? I don't have any ammo wagons either, which hurts. Alright, they're routing. The white flag means that they're routing off the map, so they are not coming back. Meanwhile, someone surrendered, the 5th foot. I don't know if they unsurrendered. It might have been these guys. I think they surrendered, but then they were captured back by their boys. So they unsurrendered, because that can happen. POWs can be used on the strategic map for what it's worth. So once you capture troops, they kind of become forced labor for you. Speed things up a little bit. Hey, I don't remember there being a flag on the ground when a unit routes in the past. That's kind of neat. Yeah, these guys are sitting back mainly to try and recover some morale. So these guys their morale is going up a little bit now that they're out of the fight. 50-3. That's a good day at the office. Those are pretty solid KD ratios. 1v1 those boys. All right, they're blocked here. Can they shoot over here? They can. By the way, guys, let me know if I assume I'm coming in over the audio okay, but let me know if it's not. All right, let's move those boys out. Okay. Why are you walking back? I just want you to shoot at the guys. I don't know why you're doing this little wiggle dance here. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Alright, battle's almost over. We didn't quite rout them off the map like I have in the past. I'm still pretty happy with the result. Again, it's a tutorial battle. You can finish or continue the fight. We'll finish. I don't see any need to... So the enemy deployed 1,200 troops. We had 3,100. We actually lost 1,000 men to their 634, so they were much more efficient than us. I don't think we captured anything. I don't know that it gives us, like, spoils of war for this battle. Again, it's a tutorial battle without our actual units involved. So we won the battle, nonetheless. And there you go. Lexington conquered. Good day for America. Take that, you filthy redcoats. All right, we pushed the British back. That gives me 10 reputation points. So if you remember, it gave me the option to get plus 25 as one of my traits. Well, I just got 10. So now my character has 60 reputation. The goal, we have an objective to capture Providence in the next 15 days. And I would say it's a good thing I'm sending these troops over here, because if we attack now, we'd have about 900 troops versus their 200. Now, they will probably bring reinforcements, maybe from Newport, maybe from Middleborough, but that's why we're moving these boys toward Providence first off. I'm assuming I will get other things unlocked here in a moment. But, yeah. So we're back to the strategic map. These regiments are moving not maybe as quickly as I would like. We could form them into a brigade, but I'm trying to keep them close-ish together. I don't really love the way the game handles units stacking or not in this particular game. 15 days. Again, when you accomplish objectives, you get perks, so we'll get 10 reputation if we take it. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. So it doesn't look like the enemy sent any reinforcements, so it looks like it's just going to be 240 men versus our 900-ish. 999, and they're 240. Our character, Horatio Butcher, will be on the map. So we have a very good chance of winning this battle, but I'm going to go ahead and fight it on the tactical map. Now, there's a good chance the AI will decide, hey, these odds aren't good, and just run away. Certainly a possibility. But it would be nice if we could destroy the enemy regiment entirely, because units do get reinforcements after they take casualties. But if you destroy a unit, then obviously it can't draw reinforcements. So here's our boys on this map. Nice tight packed formations of American militia. And my character is, for some reason, deploying back here. There does appear to be some new... I know they've made changes to the deployment of units in the game. Our boys are exhausted because they've been marching through thickets and things like that. Can we merge any of these units? We can. We can merge them into super brigades, or divisions, as it calls them. I'm guessing the enemy's just going to run. I'm guessing there won't be a fight here. But we'll see. The enemy's so heavily outnumbered, it doesn't make sense really for them to fight. They were over in this direction. We'll go ahead and speed things up. Guessing they will run away. Oh, maybe not. Oh, wait. Where are you going? All right, there's 2 companies. Oh, now they're retreating. Yep. They saw us. They kept moving until they saw us. We guess we could have... Might have made more sense to try and ambush them. Stay back, I suppose. But nonetheless, there they go. There they go, boys. There they go. By the way, Richard, thank you for the follow. All right, so they're going to retreat from Providence. That will be reflected on the strategic map. So there's a pursuit phase, which you kind of see here, where they do take some casualties. But for the most part, they just run. And we'll take Providence. They're going to retreat back to Middlesbrough. They'll probably call reinforcements down from Boston. Hawkins stay here. It probably makes sense to try and push south for Newport. So we're going to do that. While this one remaining regiment stays up here, you can see we're in the process of taking Providence. Ooh, we're made the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Yay. Gives me 450 soldiers in the Boston region and 1,000 civilian muskets. Plus Commander-in-Chief Department established. Headquarters. That's the book. We have to research a project in 30 days. We'll get 10 reputation for doing it. So the way the game kind of... Railroads is maybe a uncharitable way to position it. But the way the game gets you to do what it wants you to do is by giving you rewards. So to kind of keep you on the historical track, it'll do things like capture a city to give you reputation, or capture, do certain research to engage with the features. So if we go up here to the headquarters screen, you can see there are different headquarters that exist. There's a commander-in-chief section, an intelligence section, an artillery section, a quartermaster, engineer, and chief of the Navy. And you can research different projects, one project for each headquarter, and one project for you have to assign a commander to establish a department. So we've got, I think, is this me? So I am the commander-in-chief, so I can research something here. So we can do a quartermaster, engineer, or Morgan's rifleman. Morgan's rifleman will give me like 2-3 regiments of very good troops. But because the game wants me to research the engineering department, and it will give me reputation to do so, I'm going to do that. It'll take, 10 days to do that? When that's done, maybe we'll do Morgan's rifleman. You can see roughly the amount of days or the number here that you can research, and you can see the actual projects we can research. There's a global project pool, and then each one of these headquarters has its own sort of tech tree that you can research down as well. So you get global projects that any headquarter can research, or you get specific tech tree research for that given headquarter, and we'll see more of that in a moment here. My troops, I don't think I have an armory option yet, so I still can't really... I don't think I can... Oh, wait, I got 450 troops up here? We got Fox's regiment here of militia. We're going to have them pull back. We'll order them. I can't order them directly, so you see they're gray. They're gray because they're sort of a fog of war, right? I don't have a direct commander in line of sight for these guys. And so I can't directly command them at the moment. That being said, I can issue orders which will take time to get to them. So these 450 troops are going to go try and garrison Leicester. We do have a very small garrison up here at Portsmouth. It is the capital of New Hampshire. We could try and... do I have the ability to research new units? I do. And I do have brown besses in the arsenal. Why can I not upgrade those? Oh, I can't upgrade those troops because they're in the field, right? You can only do that when they're in a city. That's why. Man, I'm a little rusty with this. So we could research another unit at Portsmouth to try and hold this location longer. If the British set their mind to it, they will take it. 150 troops is not much. We can have up to 5 regiments in our command as the army right now. So we could... or... we could research another company in the existing militia. Researching a company wouldn't impact our cap limit and would also not require another officer to take command here. So I think we're going to do that. I don't want to use my brown besses up on the guys who are probably going to die, though. So let's just go ahead and add some additional militia companies up here just to make it harder for them to take Portsmouth. I don't want to use all of my available officers because as you raise new units, they have to be filled out with, low-ranking officers. So we'll do one at a time. A little bit more prudent, I suppose, of an approach. All right, and then you can see the progress of taking Providence is this blue bar filling up this circle here. So it's about half done. I will send my other regiment down here to try and take Newport because Newport is on a direct line with Hartford, which is the capital of Connecticut. And when you have the capital of a region, it gives you a bunch of bonuses, but also this direct road line between Hartford and Newport is probably, you know, important. Meanwhile, apparently also that other regiment is within reinforcement range. So outnumbering the Redcoats 2-1 may not be enough to get them to retreat, but when those reinforcements show up, they probably will. That being said, let's go ahead and see if we can take Newport. 2-1 is good, but they've got better weapons and are better trained, and my militias are not very efficient. That being said, we may be able to defeat them anyway. I would assume, Snuffy, if this is successful, that they might return to Ultimate General Civil War, although I would guess what would come first would be a Napoleonic game. I feel like the logical next step is a Napoleonic game. I'm going to merge these into one large unit. Kind of like a total war deployment zone now. I don't know how well hills matter in this, but there is a pretty big hill by the looks of this here. Be nice to have some cavalry to act as scouts instead of my own staff. Wouldn't be retreating. Old ground. All right, here we go. So they've got 120 boys. We've got... Well, actually, they should have 2 companies of 120, right? I only see the one right now. Oh, the second one's behind him. All right, you try and flank him. Now, my troops are going to be less efficient because they are exhausted. The enemy came up in a column. Why does it say negative 231 deaths? That has to be a bug. Maybe because we merged them into a division, I'm guessing, maybe, and so it's like adding the company stats for the new division. I'm not sure. That doesn't make a lot of sense, though. Hey, Butcher, you stay here. You got to give your boys morale. Our boys are tired from days of marching, and theirs are not, so ours are more likely to break. But we do have the general officer nearby. We do heavily have... So our weapons are not as good or as efficient. Our troops are not as good as efficient. But we do outnumber them on the firing line 2-1. And there is value in that. Twice as many lead balls flying through the air, even if less accurately aimed, may do more damage. Ah. Okay. All right, so one of their companies already retreated or started to pull back. Now they are all retreating. So we're probably not going to destroy them. I don't think we've got the endurance to charge them. This isn't like... I don't have cavalry to charge them down, so we'll just end the victory, the battle with the victory there. They lost almost twice as many men as we did. We'll get a few casualties inflicted in the pursuit phase. I wonder where they're going to retreat to, because... Hopefully they don't retreat to Hartford, because if that's unoccupied, they could take it. Let's see where they go. Maybe they'll just get destroyed in their retreat. No, they are retreating that way. Well, I can't let them take that. So these guys are going to go into garrison at Providence. Hopefully they will not. All right, you go take Newport before they send reinforcements. Butcher, you keep an eye on these boys. Bring these men out of garrison and go. Whoops. Pause. All right, so these 120 are retreating. We've got the 450 men under Fox. The Butcher, my character, can move up here to try and intercept them. Meanwhile, we took Providence, so that has fallen. We should get our achievement for that shortly. And all right, Providence is captured, plus 10 reputation, so my reputation is up to 70. The enemy's probably tired from the retreating. We'll see what happens on the auto-resolve here. All right, so they routed. The enemy routed, and maybe we'll destroy their regiment. They did. They surrendered. Hell yeah, brother. Get your boys back to Leicester. Actually, maybe take the spoils on here, then get your boys back to Leicester. All right, Newport is ours now and garrisoned. All right, Butcher, get up to Leicester. Just got to hope. The enemy tends to send troops that to unoccupied bases, so if we leave any of these towns unoccupied directly next to Boston, they will probably send more men. That being said, it looks like we just got a new regiment at Newport, at Leicester, 450 men. And by capturing Newport, we also get the USS Obedient, a unrated cutter with 12 guns and 10 more reputation. So my character is gaining quite a bit of reputation here with these early victories. 3 land battle activities with 29.8% or 29.8 reputation as rewards. So 3 reputation from land battles and then 29.8 for accomplishing different objectives, I would suppose. All right. So Leicester is secure, at least for the moment. My character now can upgrade. Leader gives 20 willpower. Long-range tactics, 10 firearms. Close-range tactics gives 10 militia. Yeah, we'll do firearms. I'm all about range in this playthrough. All right, there's Horatio Gates over there in Boston. We can try and go for Middleborough and pin him in on Boston. That's a very aggressive start, I would say. Okay. We need to concentrate our troops in Providence, and Newport can come together pretty quickly, plus these 450 men under Fox. All right, Fox, get down here. You just got something. Go try and get more dropped equipment. Providence is captured. Newport is captured. Construction Town Hall in Providence repaired. Okay. Town Hall's already... Providence is already pretty loyal. Meanwhile, we got 17 more muskets, I guess. What's the actual armory look like? How many more? So we've got 2,200 civilian muskets and 1,043 brown besses. The brown besses are much more efficient. We'll get into that more later. But I think Fox's company is going to go toward Providence. So right now this is a pretty limited map to New England. It will expand as the game goes on, as the campaign expands. But right now they've got a fort up near Stevens. We've got Portsmouth under our control. Salem, Boston, and Middlesbrough are in the British hands. Does it show me supply lines yet? I don't even think I've got the... Oh, we go down here, right? So we can see here's the supply lines on the map. Hartford is a supply generator. It's a capital. It sends supplies up to Newport, which also is a port, so it gets some supply bonuses. And then it sends supplies up to Providence. So these 3 towns are all linked. Leicester's a little bit more vulnerable because it is not linked by anything. So you can see there's no supply line into Leicester. So that could be addressed if we had wagons, which we don't have yet. Portsmouth is also, it's a port, so it's kind of a generator of supplies. It's out here on its own. Taking Fort Stevens is tempting, but again, that would be another sort of on its own type situation. So then the logical next step is to go for Middleborough, which is just south of Boston, and then in theory could allow us to use that as a springboard between Leicester and Middlesbrough to drive on Boston. I'm going to guess the British have way more troops than we do right now at Boston. Still, Middlesbrough did look vulnerable last I saw it, so it might make sense to go for that next, before the British bring in too many reinforcements. Okay, we need a supply line with Dakotas and Commandos over the hump. Wrong game. Yeah. So we can bring these 400 troops up. That'll give us about 900. Last intel had Middlesbrough at about 230. This could be out of date. They could definitely bring reinforcements down from Boston, so we'd have to hit them quickly. But we could also bring the 450 boys up from Newport to give us around 14 or 1,300 troops for the assault. That being said, you do got to be careful about leaving port towns open because the British do like to do amphibious landings from time to time. You know, their Navy's good at that stuff. Also, we do have 83 reputation, which influences recruitment and things like that. It's not a major thing to be concerned about quite yet, but one of the things you can do with that is if we want, we could spend 8 reputation points to immediately finish the engineering department. That would get me down to, 75 reputation? But then I could immediately start researching Morgan's rifles, which would give me a pretty darn good unit for the early war period. So 83 reputation is quite a lot. I'm not worried about recruitment quite yet, so let's do that. Let's spend 8 reputation. That's cheap. We'll go for trying to get those rifles in our hands. So maybe we can get them in time for the assault on Middleborough, or if not, maybe it'll help if we end up fighting what is at Boston anyway? What fight? So we've got Intel's 239. Oh boy, 720 British reinforcements are on the way to Boston. We finished the engineering department. We get also that kind of paid for itself because we get the plus 10 reputation for doing it. So we actually netted out plus 2. Research the Sons of Liberty. We have 38 days and we get $2,500. Construct a production building. We get 10 reputation, 64 days. All right, so they got 4,000 troops at Boston. They've also got 700 more on the way. So that's 5,000 troops. If they put that in the field anywhere, we can't hope to match it. We do have the production buildings have come online now, so we can do stuff with that. Money matters now. We've got $27,000. All right, so it wants us to research the Sons of Liberty, which is here and takes 28 days. We have 38 to do it. We've got 85 reputation. So let's do this. Let's research Morgan's Riflemen. We're going to do that for a few days, and then we'll just get it right away. Let's just do it right away. Still will be in the 70s for reputation. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and assign Jay Richardson as the chief engineer. You can see the traits that matter for that are his intelligence and his willpower, and he has the best of any of the 3 available options, Samson Burr, Trevor Noel, or Jay Richardson. So Jay Richardson gives us the best option there. We could do production. We could spend money to produce stuff, but right now I don't really have a need to do that. We'll do Engineers of the Revolution, I suppose. Increases research speed. Alternatively, actually, can I research something else instead? No, it looks like artillery and it looks like new departments can only be researched by the commander-in-chief. But we probably should work on, it does want us to research a production building. I don't see... is that considered a production building? But a schoolhouse increases the amount of specialists you get. It looks like they've changed the title of junior officers to specialists, which is interesting. I don't know why they made that change, but we'll go ahead and build a schoolhouse. Where do we have sufficient production to do that? Newport has 0.6 construction points. Providence has 1. Providence is a little bit more vulnerable. They have 500 troops at Middlesbrough now. Damn. All right, so let's do... Also, they added a whole bunch more buildings for some of these. Providence has way more buildings than it did in the last time I played. Nonetheless, let's do schoolhouses. There. Hartford has a lot of spare production points. So we'll do a schoolhouse there. I don't want to just do schoolhouses. I'm going to need other things, but horses would actually be useful. Or something that generates income. Textiles, I feel like fur is what you really want. A trade depot gives income. A merchant stall, that's new. I don't remember that before. All right, we'll do a schoolhouse there. So we'll do a schoolhouse in both of these locations. the loyalty's less of a concern because all these towns have very high loyalty and it's going up. Leicester has a fur house, right? Yeah, furs are valuable for trading. I'm just worried we'll lose Leicester, but I don't think the building will get destroyed. So if we retake it, great. Portsmouth, I'm not going to invest in. I think the enemy will take that before I do anything there. All right, so we know they've got 4,000 troops at Boston, 500 at Middlesbrough. They got 700 more coming. They haven't arrived yet. It wouldn't shock me if they send the 700 troops to Middlesbrough because that's kind of the front line. Let's do this. Let's get these troops equipped with brown besses. I don't know what this yellow icon is there. That's new. And then let's also get these troops with brown besses. Don't we have enough? Why is the arsenal red now? I'm confused. All right, we're going to have these boys leave Newport. It does leave us vulnerable, especially as the enemy's bringing in 700 new troops by sea that they could launch an assault on Newport. There's those 700 troops coming in. We're gonna move on Middlesbrough right away to try and take it before the enemy reinforcements show up. They could, again, at any time they could decide to leave Boston and move south, and it's close enough that they don't have to get far out of Boston to be in the reinforcement radius to fight a battle here. Morgan's rifles have arrived in Hartford. They're too far away to fight. Oh, they're all in white, too. But they did arrive. And construct a recruiting house. Anywhere or just... We have 48 days to construct a recruiting house. So Morgan's rifles, 400 troops. All right, you boys move to Newport. These guys all have much better weapons than you can usually recruit. I think they've got hunter rifles, so they're very good weapons. Okay. I didn't do a shipyard infrastructure, did I? All right, so it wants me to do Sons of Liberty in the next 38 days, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I don't want to spend all my reputation on stuff, but that'll take 28 days. So that'll get us, what? Something. I don't remember what the reward is. We'll also construct the production infrastructure in Hartford. We have 63 days. We got a little bit of time for that. I don't know what production infrastructure is considered, though. And then... I wish I told you what counts as production infrastructure. I don't see the and then a recruiting house in Hartford. Okay. All right, so recruiting both of those, building both of those in Hartford. We need a production infrastructure and a recruiting house? I might be out of luck on one of those. Anyway, these boys are almost ready for a battle. I did apply the new guns, Templar. Steam release was early access. It was like yesterday, Jared. Came out on Steam yesterday. It's not, it's still early access. I have no idea how far away from that they are. All right, they're sending troops south. Let's fight before they show up. So you can see these boys are coming down to aid them. They've got 400 troops or 500 troops. They have cannon, though. We do not. So that's probably why this is a closer looking battle than maybe it is. So we'll have to be careful with that because cannon can be pretty damn devastating. But we've been going for almost an hour now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here, and we will fight this battle in our next video. Until then, however, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.